Have you ever gone over the speed limit while driving? If you own a car, the answer is most likely yes. We are here today to talk to you about the UK's Foolspeed campaign, a campaign hoping to reduce the amount of speeding seen in the UK. Hello, my name is Sienna Helden and these are my fellow classmates Ben, Rowan and Anita, and we are here today to go in depth on the Foolspeed campaign and analyse the social marketing campaign and its effectiveness. This campaign is one of the first to use behavioural change theory to design, implement and evaluate the campaign. This campaign was implemented in the UK to combat the ever-increasing rate of speeding seen in male and females from the age of 18 to 44. The Foolspeed campaign is a 5-year mass media campaign that involves using TV and cinema to switch people's perceptions of speeding from a way to get to a destination quicker and an emotional buzz to a dangerous way to get yourself and others hurt or worse, killed. Foolspeed is more specifically targeted to people in Scotland aged 25 to 44 who are professional white-collar workers. For a campaign like this to work, social theories must be implemented. Theories such as the health belief model, social cognitive theory, theory of planned behaviour and the trans-theoretical model. The health belief model explains behaviour choices as rational decision making based upon expected outcomes. In simpler terms, one will weigh up the perceived risk of negative outcomes of their behaviour against what would happen if they changed their behaviour, which would therefore change the outcome. In the case of Foolspeed campaign, the health belief model is used to change the perceptions of drivers from speeding being thrilling and getting to places quicker to being extremely dangerous and cause serious harm. This model can also change from person to person depending on the personal characteristics and knowledge of speeding and its horrible outcomes. The next social theory is social cognitive theory. This theory involves behaviours, personal and environmental factors that are determinants of each other. In other words, people do not learn just by themselves. People replicate and learn from other behaviours. This theory encompasses 3 parts: the behaviour, which is the emotional, skills and self-efficiency and practice; external environment, the community's influence on social norms; and the cognitive and personal factors, such as personal knowledge, expectations and attitudes. In relation to Foolspeed's campaign, this theory is used in hope to change people's way of viewing speeding, and by changing one person's view, this theory states that people will learn from each other and therefore change a lot of people's views. The next social theory is the theory of planned behaviour. This theory encompasses the behavioural change and the outcome behavioural intention and behavioural intention as the outcome of social norms and the individual's attitudes towards the behaviour. If a person's attitude and beliefs are positive, then they are more likely to perform the behaviour. In relation to Foolspeed, if a person believes that speeding is something positive, then they are more likely to perform the action. Lastly is the trans-theoretical model. This model is the idea that people don't jump from one current behaviour to the desired behaviour. Rather, they progress slowly from the risky behaviour to the more desired behaviour without even knowing. The Foolspeed campaign is a 5-year campaign that gives people enough time to slowly transition from one bad behaviour to good behaviour towards speeding. There are 6 parts in changing one's behaviour. These include pre-contemplation. People do not intend on changing within the next 6 months. Then it moves to contemplation. The intention is to change within 6 months. Then preparation. This is the intention to take action within a month. Then action. This is changing one's lifestyle in the last 6 months. Then we head to maintenance, working to prevent relapse, and termination, when relapse becomes extremely unlikely. Using these theories are very beneficial. They allow for a business to understand their demographic, for example their target market or audience and people's attitudes towards speeding or the problem in question. It also allows for a company or business to make a strategic plan that they know can be implemented and will work. And also it gives a more objective understanding of behaviour than we could gather through experience alone. I now pass on to Rowan to explain this further.
In this case study, members of Road Safety Scotland and the Centre of Social Marketing created a campaign that wanted to reduce speeding in the UK. Using theories to create a large-scale intervention for driving behaviour had not been done before in the UK. Researchers had also pointed out that there have been very few attempts to use the theory of planned behaviour to design an actual intervention. Using a theory that has not been used many times before to design an intervention can be seen as extremely risky. However, they still decided to use this theory for their intervention. The Foolspeed campaign is one of few that incorporates behavior change theories to design, implement, and evaluate a campaign. Traditionally, theories are used to interpret data and propose possible explanations for what is being observed. Throughout the campaign, there were 4 theories used: the health belief model, social cognitive theory, theory of planned behavior, and the trans theoretical model. The health belief model was used to change the perception drivers had about speeding. They aimed to change the view people had about speeding from being thrilling and convenient to being very dangerous and causing serious harm. This theory was proven effective, as frequent speeders felt that the ad about changing your attitude was targeted at them, and also agreed that it made them feel like they drove too fast. The social cognitive theory was implemented to change the view of one person on speeding, and in doing so, that one person will influence other people to change their views on speeding as well. This theory may be more useful in smaller groups of people compared to large groups of people where it can be difficult to measure its effectiveness. However, as people were re-evaluating their driving behavior after seeing the attitude ad from the campaign, this could possibly have an influence on their friends and family, resulting in affecting the behaviors of others in the community. The theory of planned behavior in the Foolspeed campaign basically links the beliefs of people to their behavior. The attitude ad, having performed well in this campaign, had people rethinking their decisions on the road and why speeding is dangerous. Once people change their beliefs, their behavior also changes. This theory was proven quite effective, as people were acknowledging that they drive too fast, which was dangerous, hence changing their beliefs, which results in the change of behavior. Lastly, the trans theoretical model was also proven quite effective in this campaign. This theory states that people will progress slowly from their risky behavior to the desired behavior without really being aware of it. This theory was proven effective, as reported speeding decreased significantly by the 3rd and 4th surveys. So, to sum up, I would say all 4 theories used did play a role in making an effective campaign. However, some were more effective than the other. I also think that this campaign was successful because all 4 theories used played off each other and helped create an effective campaign. The theories used complemented each other, and the creators of the campaign were able to efficiently use these theories.
So the reactance theory shows behaviour of people attempting to prove autonomy or free choice, people that will behave in the opposite manner to a given restriction. So in other words, the general assumption of the reactance theory is that the requests made that act as a threat to individuals' freedom will drive them to defend that freedom and act against the request. So it serves as a motivator to restore one's freedom, basically. So freedom to behave involves an individual being able to choose when, where, how, and how they'd like to perform that particular behaviour of choice. So modifying or suggesting to modify a behaviour by restricting how it is to be acted can spark a reaction to protect that individual's right and freedom. So looking at the Foolspeed case study, driving campaigns that feature the extreme driving behaviours where the drivers feel like they're being told off, isolated or picked on, or at threat of their own freedom, can create that behavioural response falling under the reactance theory, as the people feel like they're being told how not to drive and how they should be driving, therefore their freedom and their freedom of choice is being basically diminished, creates the response of the individuals believing that they are actually better than those driving in those commercials, and that they wouldn't succumb to the same outcome as they do believe that they are better drivers, and that speeding is going to be a completely different ball game to those in the ads. So, for an example, I'll just bring it back to an everyday life, and I think many of us could relate. So if we picture ourselves on a local street of our own residence, and there's roadworks up, but it's at night. So you've got your 40-kilometre signs on either side of the road. So this is that threat to our freedom of choice. So we're being told basically that we have to go 40 kilometres through this area. But in other words, we could actually fight against this and be like, well, there's no one around, everyone's packed up, gone home, no one's on the road, it's dark, it's safe for us to go a little bit quicker. So we're reacting to this threat to our freedom of choice, and then so we actually go faster than your 40 kilometres, possibly 60 kilometres along these roads, as we're reacting to this this basically ask of us to just do one thing, but we don't. Yeah, so that's the reactance theory.
So, if reactance is the rejection or inverse arousal response to a persuasive message, such as Foolspeed's, then it's obvious that social marketing strategies should be crafted and articulated in a way that are likely to produce the least amount of reactance possible. And according to contemporary research, there's a number of ways we can go about doing this. The first is the type of language used in the campaign. Many studies have been conducted to assess the level of reactance to high controlling language and low controlling language. The use of explicit statements, such as demands and orders, have been shown to produce higher rates of reactance. Some examples of this may include the use of words such as must, required, and obligated. Additionally, opinionated language has also been shown to threaten autonomy and subsequently cause reactance. These statements often include subjective allegations such as "it can't be denied" or "without a doubt", as well as insults towards the observer's perspective such as "you'd be stupid to do this". Instead, social marketing campaigns such as Foolspeed should use language that is autonomy supportive. These statements can emphasize choice and self-initiation. Such statements may include perhaps, could, or possibly. The aim of this language is to make the persuader's message more ambiguous and a bit less explicit. This leaves the message up to interpretation and encourages the receiver to form their own inferences and self-considerations from the campaign, thereby increasing autonomy and the overall effectiveness of this advertisement. However, it should also be noted that being too indirect with your message may result in it becoming muddled or misunderstood, or even ignored altogether because it wasn't captivating enough. Another component shown to influence reactance is source similarity. This refers to the psychological degree to which a persuasive source and a recipient are similar with respect to certain characteristics. This may be anything from where the message is depicted to who is depicting the message, and several studies have been conducted to assess how this similarity can affect psychological reactance. Results from these studies have shown that a recipient will have less reactance if the message is depicted by something or someone that they are familiar with, whether it be a place they grew up in or a celebrity that they love. This is due to the mere exposure effect, a psychological phenomenon where people will naturally develop a preference for things that they're familiar with. This is important because these findings suggest that social marketing strategies could be more effective at reducing reactance if they correctly employ source similarity. One sufficient method of this would be to include a celebrity endorsement, such as a popular sports star or musician, to support a persuasive message. A study conducted by Shardleton and Nisbet found that messages supported by celebrity advocacy had lower reactance and higher message evaluation in participants because the source was familiar with them and therefore less threatening. Additionally, they discovered that messages from popular celebrities were described as more interesting. Even if the celebrity wasn't an expert in the field that they were discussing, messages were still held in higher regard than sources that were unfamiliar to the recipient. other findings show that messages supported by celebrities had higher rates of recall over time, and even individuals that had not seen the campaign had at least heard about it. Therefore, by using the various findings around the studies of reactance theory, it's possible for me to propose another social marketing strategy for the Foolspeed campaign that focuses on reducing the backlash that may occur from reactance. This new Foolspeed campaign should include a popular celebrity that is familiar to the target demographic, such as a Scottish Olympic gold medalist like Andy Murray. Additionally, the ad should be depicted in a familiar place for the majority of the target audience, such as the main roads in Edinburgh or Glasgow. This would boost source similarity and allow the message to captivate a larger audience. Secondly, the language the chosen celebrity uses should be autonomy supportive to allow for a broader perspective and also allows the target demographic to build their own implications and decisions of the message. Each of these components would drastically reduce the psychological reactance and generate a successful social marketing campaign for Foolspeed. Thanks for watching.